really not a complete false phrase. 24 fences to jump, 25 runners, some overweights down the bottom. 18 Mighty Moss, perhaps he's 11 pounds over. That's of course not being able to claim either. And number 19, Maguire, he's 5 pounds over down on that one.
Just confirm the latest betting down in the ring. Bow, a very well supported favourite, as Mac was saying, in from 6-1 to 9-2. What's Up Boys at 7s, King's Mark at 8-1, Heidi out to 9-1, Arctic Camper at 10s, and then 3 on 14s in at the top, Jocks Cross and Ad Hoc 20-1 bar. Now the top weight here, Bow, bidding to follow in the hoof prints of Larborn, Diamond Edge and Topsham Bay. Can he win it again, Jim and John?
Well, certainly be stretching it a bit, I suppose, to say he was robbed of an Aintree National, but he was travelling incredibly well when the reins got over his head and went over the other side, and he's a 9-2 favourite. Jumps and gallops.
Popular Northern Challenger in at the top for Jim Turner's yard. Good horse this, and well handicapped, but a big doubt about his stamina this afternoon.
2 greys in the race. This is the first. King's Mark comes here on the back of a really good win at Liverpool in the soft ground. He's a horse who likes to come from off the pace.
Whatever happens to Jocks Cross, he's already had a good season. He landed the Welsh National. Very good second to Frantic Tan at Haydock last time. But there's just a chance around this track that the going may not even be soft enough for him.
You could do worse than back this fella each way. Double Thriller. He's a 33-1 shot. Finished second to Marlborough last time out at Wincanton. Does have breathing problems, but he looks magnificent.
Arctic Camper promised to make up into a very good chaser early last season. On his second win, he beat Bow up at Wetherby. He's had only 1 run since, pulled up at Aintree, having travelled well for a long way. We're in the dark about him.
A couple of 13-year-olds in the race. This one, Addington Boy, guaranteed to get the trip. He unseated his pilot at Liverpool last time out. Good sound jumper normally, Addington Boy.
There's Brow Joshi, who's a horse, a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde character, but there's no doubt he's well in on some form. He won at Warwick in January, staying on very strongly, and he'll keep going when others have cried enough.
Not just have acted at Haydock in the soft. This fella, though, certainly went in the soft at Aintree last time out. What's Up Boys? He looked a little bit tentative over fences first time up this season, but he's got better as the year has progressed. I'm not totally convinced he jumps with enough fluency for a race like this, but there's no doubt he's improving. What's Up Boys?
Let's move on down to Dark Strange. It's very hard to fancy this one. He has days when he runs well, but he needs the ground much faster, and he sulks sometimes when things don't go his way.
This is the Land Agent. Hasn't won beyond 2.5 miles, but he's been a smashing servant to connections. He's the mount of Andrew Thornton, who of course won the Air National last Saturday.
Ad Hoc ran a fine second in the Scottish National at Ayr last week, just worn down. They're worried about the ground for him, but there's no doubt he comes here in form and favourably handicapped.
French Raider, Jeddah, really good horse in the past, but we haven't seen really the best of him for a long time now. Good jumper. I think he gets the trip and he goes on the ground, but he just hasn't shown that sparkle of old.
So they come out here for their, it's a nice phrase, date with destiny, but it's not an understatement really here, because they're going to go into one of the great roles of honour in the racing game, out through in the sunlight. We'll rejoin them on the track. Welcome back. The sunshine, Sandown Park and the Whitbread Field on the track.
Now, some news at Market Raisin while the runners for the Whitbread organise themselves for the parade here. the 3:15 result. It went to number 5, After Me Boys, 5-2. Second, number 1, Court of Justice at 4-1. Third, number 3, Stormin' Native, 15-8 favourite. A few non-runners, numbers 2, 4, 12 and 13, 12 round.
Wonderful day here at Sandown. It's the most beautiful setting for racing, and a race that we've just had between Edredon, Blurt and Fidalgo. Sadly soured, I think, churlishly by the stewards. They have a duty to do. They've suspended Ruby Walsh for 1 day, which tells you only that it can be a minor offence. Yet it brings to the sport unwanted publicity at the end of a most fantastic race where riders and horses gave everything. But now onto the Whitbread and the parade as they file down past the stands.
An old-fashioned Whitbread in the 4th largest field there has ever been. And Bow, the 19th title holder, to return to try and win it for the second time. Only 2 have succeeded, Topsham Bay and Larbourne, is now the 4-1 favourite, that Bow, and Barry Dennis's Bismarck. And coming down, the crowd are really applauding now. Desert Orchid looking absolutely, as he always does, quite magnificent. You feel you keep it running and listen to the crowd applauding. Bow trying to make history, which Desert Orchid was never able to do, win it for the second time. The 4-1 favourite is then 7-1 bar. That's What's Up Boys with 8-1 against King's Mark. 9 to 1 Heidi the third, and 10 to 1 Arctic Camper is 14 to 1 Bar. It's 12 to 1 Bar. That's Jock's Cross 12 to 1, and some bookmakers going a bit less. That Jock's Cross is then 14 to 1 against Ad Hoc, and 16 to 1 in at the top, very weak that, and it's 20 to 1 Bar those, and an outsider being back 23 Scott and Green, 100 to 1 with Better Bet this morning, 66.50, now 40 on the course. The long shot, 23 pounds out of the handicap, Scott and Green, 40 to 1.
So many stories attached to the Whitbread. One of the most fitting would be a farewell winner for Mickey Hammond. Heidi, his representative, winner of the Great Yorkshire. Last year's winner, Beau, came on from the Great Yorkshire to take this. This horse, a really consistent animal. His stamina is yet to be proven, but he's a solid jumper, and he races as though he will stay.
Well, the sun came out just briefly while they were in the paddock. Most of them looked well, but in particular, Double Thriller and Mark Pittman's runner, Brow Joshi. There were good reports too for Beau, Mr. One, and again for Beau, Heidi and Scott and Green down in the betting ring. Negatives, King's Mark, Ad Hoc, and in at the top.
So it won't be too long before they're called in. Let's now check the full betting show. Beau, the very strong 4 to 1 favourite. What's Up Boys 7s, King's Mark 8s, Heidi 9s, Arctic Camper 11s, Jock's Cross come into 12 to 1. Ad Hoc on the drift 14, in at the top going out 16 to 1. 20 to 1, Brow Joshi and Mighty Moss, 25 to 1, Storm Damage and Samuel Wilderspin, who's holding steady. Dark Stranger, 28 to 1, 33s, Double Thriller, The Land Agent and Jeddah. 40 to 1, Addington Boy, Penny Bridge and Scott and Green being nibbled at. 50 to 1, The Last Fling and Mr. One. 66 to 1, Folly Road. 100 to 1, No Retreat. And King's Chariot, 250 to 1. And Chagrin is also 250 to 1. And what about The Last Fling? Bruff Scott's final day on Channel 4. He wore the colours last week in the marathon. It would be a fitting end if The Last Fling could win. And more support for Beau. It's now the 7 to 2 favourite. Beau has touched 6 to 1 on the course, and there's a 10 to 1 chance for Victor Chandler on Tuesday. Very tight, 7 to 1. What's Up Boys? Second best.
Putting the goggles down, that's the time when you know you've got to shut everything out and face what's going to come at you. In this case, the fences, the Sandown and the Whitbread. Here's Simon Holt.
Hunters have good memories. Remembering Beau's win by distance in this race 12 months ago, and they've come for him again. And he was certainly unlucky in the Grand National at Aintree. So there would be some justice perhaps if he could win this race for the second time. He looked well going to post in the hands of Carl Llewellyn. And although it's a big field, there aren't too many front runners in this race, and expect him to be prominent, if not in the lead, most of the way. They jumped 24 fences in all, and judging by the times this afternoon, it's going to be a stamina test over 3 miles, 5.5 furlongs. And there's money coming in for this horse, What's Up Boys, into 13 to 2 from 7 to 1. With Richard Johnson aboard, many people's idea of the best handicapped horse in the race. He won't mind the conditions either. He handled them very well at Aintree last time, and beating one of the season's best novices, Shotgun Willie. Whether Shotgun Willie quite produced his best on that occasion is in some doubt. Samuel Wilderspin just causing 1 or 2 anxious moments. Tommy Doyle, who was out on the course before racing, having a walk round, riding for Richard Lee. You remember this combination had a double on Channel 4 at Newton Abbot a couple of weeks ago. Huge crowd at Sandown today, absolute capacity, eagerly anticipating this 45th renewal of the season's final big race. And of course, this now the final day of the National Hunt season. It's been a season that many will wish to forget due to the weather and foot and mouth as well but so far we've had a fitting climax. 2 marvellous races here so far, and hopefully one more at least to come. They're beginning to line up. 25 runners jockeying for position. No retreat at the back. Mr. One turning, the white face and the yellow jacket. And Bow moving towards the outside under Carl Llewellyn, a 7-2 favourite. And there'll be a fair old charge on down towards the first fence. It comes up quite quickly. One part of the race where a little bit of luck is required. A lot of horses, a lot of traffic, and away they go. With 3 miles, 5.5 furlongs to cover for the 2001 Whitbread Gold Cup, and rather slow away was What's Up Boys, who jumped off towards the rear, but over the first fence, the last fling on the outside, with up the inside Jocks Cross, the Welsh national winner. Heidi is prominent too, also Pennybridge in the black sleeve jacket, and Shagreen towards the inner. Bow is on the outside of runners as they take the open ditch, the second fence, at which Kingsmark was very slow towards the back. Storm Damage is one of the back markers with no retreat as well. And up front, Shagreen, the rank outsider, has come through to show the way from Jocks Cross in second, and then Pennybridge and Bow out wide. They're followed by King's Cherry in the last fling, and then Heidi, and up the inside Scotland Green. Next is Frenchman Jeddah, followed by Dark Stranger, Brow Joshi wide of the Land Agent. What's Up Boys recovering from the slow start on the outside. Then Samuel Wilderspin and Mighty Moss, and Ad Hoc and No Retreat is still just the back marker. As they run downhill and on towards fence number 3, and Shagreen by 2 or 3 lengths on the descent from Bow on the outside of Jocks Cross in second and third. Then Pennybridge is fourth, Heidi on the inside of King's Cherry, then Scotland Green in the last fling, and Dark Stranger double thriller up the inside as they clear this one. And the leaders sail over. Folly Road was very awkward, but they're all over safely. Looking to the midfield, Jeddah still in the midfield with Dark Stranger, Folly Road, the Land Agent, then Arctic Camper midfield too, from Addington Boy and Samuel Wilderspin. And What's Up Boys on the wide outside from Storm Damage next, then Ad Hoc and Brow Joshi and Mighty Moss as they cleared the first down the back straight, and they all land safely. King's Mark is one of the back markers with Mr. One and No Retreat over the next plain fence. Shagreen took it again in front, and there'll be about 25 lengths covering the lot of them. This is an open ditch now. Shagreen by a couple of lengths to Bow, a good jump in second. Pennybridge is next. Heidi made a slight mistake there in about 7th or 8th place as they continue on towards the water jump. And Shagreen, Jocks Cross over on the far side as we look at them. Bow on the near side, red sleeve jacket, Pennybridge. Out wide is King's Cherry as they take this one. The chasing pack are headed by Heidi and then Double Thriller. And the last fling with a white face as we look down on them as they approach the 3 railway fences, and Shagreen is going to take the first of them in front from Jocks Cross and Bow. Then Pennybridge in 4th place, Double Thriller is 5th. Next is Scotland Green towards the inside, followed closely by King's Cherry, the last fling. Heidi was after these. Then Jeddah in midfield still from Arctic Camper as they take the last in the back straight, and a slight mistake there by Scotland Green, who hit it hard. Amongst the back markers, the last 7 or 8 include What's Up Boys, Samuel Wilderspin, also Storm Damage, Mighty Moss right out of the back door at the moment. Also towards the rear, Mr. One, No Retreat, and Kingsmark, and Mick Fitzgerald are last of all, confirming that Bow went off the 7-2 favourite to repeat his win in this race 12 months ago as they make the run towards the pond fence. And it's Shagreen away to the left. Bow with the white face, very handy indeed. Mick Fitzgerald is giving Kingsmark reminders towards the rear. Doesn't seem to be travelling at all at the moment as they head towards the pond fence, and this is the 11th this time. It'll be 3 out after another circuit, and the leaders all sail over safely, and it's still Shagreen having his moment of glory here in the hands of Jim Cullity, riding for Howard Johnson, who won this race in 1994 with Usher's Island, but last year's winner Bow is right alongside as they take the next. Jocks Cross chases these from Pennybridge, 3rd and 4th, and then behind these is the last fling. Jeddah improving a bit towards the outside, followed by Folly Road in a light blue jacket. Towards the inner, Scotland Green, and then Double Thriller as they take what will be their last next time. In at the top, a mistake, a faller. King's Cherry and Brow Joshi was interfered with. Horse and rider are up on their feet Okay, Liam Cummings and King's Cherry. Bow takes over, passing the judge a circuit to go from Shah Green. Then Jock's Cross. Up the inside, Scott and Green is moving well. Pennybridge is fifth, then Double Thriller and Jeddah in the last fling, and Folly Road and What's Up Boys out wide. Arctic Camp to the inside of Ad Hoc, followed by Heidi, and then Samuel Wilderspin and Addington Boy up the inside as they make this turn once again. And Carl Llewellyn asserts, as he did last year on Bow, with Raoul Joshi there right out the back at the moment as they run downhill towards fence number 14 of the 24 they have to cross in all. And getting a bit more strung out now, no retreat, struggling towards the rear. Down the hill they go then, and it's Bow from Scott and Green with Shah Green and Pennybridge. Then Arctic Camper and Jock's Cross. As they take this one, the leader slightly away to the left. Addington Boy, a slight mistake on the inside, but they're bunching up front as they enter the back straight. 7 fences down here to take, and it's Bow under an 11 stone 10 top weight from Pennybridge in second. Then Scott and Green the inside. What's Up Boys now making good headway. The grey on the outside goes up into about third place. The well-handicapped horse, so they take the first down the back. Last year's runner-up Folly Road is into fifth. Then Ad Hoc making good headway. Jeddah is close up, then Heidi as they take the next plain fence. They're chased by Arctic Camper. Plenty still standing here, plenty in with chances as they head towards this next open ditch. Another sound jump from Bow in front. A mistake by Heidi there. A faller back in the field is Jock's Cross. It looks as though the last fling might also have gone at that as well as they head back towards the water jump. And it's Bow from Pennybridge in second. What's Up Boys lands third. Scott and Green, Folly Road, Ad Hoc going well on their heels. They are chased by hard by Heidi, who's made 1 or 2 mistakes. Then Dark Stranger. Jeddah still just about in touch from Double Thriller. A gap to Arctic Camper at the first of the railway fences. Bow rather dived at that. A gasp went up from the crowd as they go towards the middle of the 3. And Bow leads by a couple of lengths. What's Up Boys, the grey in second, looking a big danger. Scott and Green on the inside. Pennybridge, Ad Hoc still coasting in behind them as they jump the last on the far side, at which What's Up Boys jumped to the front there on the outside of Bow, but they go head-to-head, leaving the back. Pennybridge, Ad Hoc, Ruby Walsh sitting still on him. Then Folly Road from Scott and Green. Then behind these is Double Thriller as they now make the long run towards the pond fence, which is 3 from the finish. Chasing up the leading pack is Heidi, and Dark Stranger under a strong ride as well as they head down towards 3 out, and it's What's Up Boys and Bow. They're chased in third by Ad Hoc, last week's Scottish National runner-up, running another cracker, and he's still cruising in behind the 2 leaders. They're followed by Folly Road and Scott and Green at 3 out. It was What's Up Boys from Bow, but Ad Hoc seems to be coasting as they run towards the final turn, and Richard Johnson says go now on What's Up Boys. Bow is flat-footed second, but here comes Ad Hoc and Ruby Walsh in second place now as they jump the second last. What's Up Boys is tackled by Ad Hoc. They feared he wouldn't handle the ground. He's bouncing off it as they run towards the final fence, and Ad Hoc under a featherweight comes to take it up from What's Up Boys. They're clear of Bow at the last fence. Ad Hoc is over 4 to 5 lengths. Then What's Up Boys in second, Bow back in third, Scott and Green and Pennybridge, and racing up the hill, it's the improving 7-year-old Ad Hoc and Ruby Walsh scattering away to win the Whitbread. In second place, What's Up Boys running on the spot, but finishes second. It's going to be tight for third. Bow is very tired and is collared by Scott and Green with Dark Stranger in fourth. Fifth was Bow. Then came Pennybridge and Folly Road. Mr. One was next from Heidi. Double Thriller, Raoul Joshi. Then Storm Damage. Behind Storm Damage, King's Mark never did a tap. Then Samuel Wilderspin. A lot of the others pulled up, no retreat, and Addington Boy and the Land Agent also pulling up. Shah Green, the early leader, and Jeddah in the end as well. And Arctic Camper seems to have come to grief on the way round. But no grief for this fella. Ad Hoc continuing the magnificent form of trainer Paul Nicholls. Runner-up a week ago behind Jean Jambre in the Scottish Grand National Aberdare. Possibly slightly better suited by this shorter trip today. Looked as though the rain has scuppered his chances, but now that his jumping is sorted out, another good jump at the final fence. Already had the race won at this point, because in second place What's Up Boys was getting very tired. Back in third at this stage, though he loses that position in the end, was last year's winner Bow, who'd run another game race, but with 11 stone 10 he too got very leg weary. but off just 10 stone 4, this progressive 7-year-old who had no end of jumping problems earlier in the season, has really got his act together in the latter stages of the campaign. Second in the Scottish Grand National, first in the Whitbread Gold Cup.
Ad hoc at 16-to-1 chance when betting opened earlier in the week, a 14-to-1 chance with Ladbrokes and with a tote, and generally 12, 11 and 10 this morning has returned the 14-to-1 7th choice of the punters. Ad hoc at 14-to-1 beats the second favourite What's Up Boys, returned at 6-to-1. The third is Scotland Green, a 40-to-1 chance, and lots of each-way bets landed by Scotland Green at 40-to-1. The fourth is Dark Stranger, sent off at 28-to-1 for Pipe and McCoy. And the fifth, and some bookmakers are playing on the fifth place, Bet Direct, Cashman's and Paddy Power and Ireland Pay on Bow, the 7-to-2 favourite. Ad hoc, 14-to-1, 7th choice. Trainer. Paul Nicholls, you're enjoying the most fantastic 48 hours of your life, I would think.
I'm flying. I don't know why. They're all in good order.
Yeah.
Look wonderful. And all the horses that went to air last week and ran have all come back and run fantastic races.
It's a long way there, long way back, long way here.
They're fitting well.
Yeah.
That helps him. Didn't he give him a brilliant ride?
But I mean, it was cruising all the way.
Well, he's been a bit unlucky. He's always done well. He lost his confidence. The air race did him good. We were a bit worried about the ground, albeit I did said Ruby in the Hennessy he was cantering when he fell at the cross fence, so he may go in it, and he has.
He's done absolutely superb. And how many winners now in the past 48 hours?
I think that's 11.
Well done. Well, let's have a chat. Where is he? He was the first one back, but now the stories are coming through. Tony McCoy there talking to Pipey, who says well done to Paul Nicholls, and here he comes. Come on, Ruby! Ruby, does that make up for the last race a little bit?
Help anyway.
What was that like? It looked absolutely easy, but tell us what it was like.
Jumped absolutely super, travelled really well. It was only a matter of not getting there too soon.
Yeah. And what was it like coming up the home straight towards the last?
I knew I was going to win. He was doing an absolute half, you know.
Yeah.
Jumped impeccably. He was first class.
Enjoy the moment.
Well, John, can you believe this horse that was back for the Cheltenham Gold Cup before he ran first time out this season ever had a jumping problem?
No, absolutely. Mick Fitzgerald and the lads down at Paul Nicholls have done a good job with this horse, and we've said before, he's basically a good sound jumper. He used to just lose his concentration, but Ruby put him to sleep here this afternoon, and a wonderful training performance. I must admit, having watched him run in the Scottish National just 7 days ago, I thought that we had just asked him too much on ground. It's probably been on the far side for him, but he's a good horse, this. Absolutely one, pulling a cart.
Let's just check the starting prices. And a slight correction to the SP of fourth place Dark Stranger, 28-to-1, not 25-to-1, as we gave out earlier. Ad hoc, 14-to-1, the winner by 19 lengths. What's Up Boys, 6-to-1, Scotland Green 40s, Dark Stranger 28, 18.90 for the win, places 380, 210, 750, 490. Exacta £118.40, straight forecast 77.